When you are assigned to station number 2, you're going to be working on an Achieve article. So before you get started, I want to do a little recap of how I want you to read this article. Last week we talked about text structures. We talked about when you're reading informational text, your brain has to work in a special way to ensure that you do your best job, that you take your time and you get your best understanding of it. You know you're going to have to do some questions. Your questions are going to count for a grade. And this provides some background knowledge as we work through this unit. So let's do a quick recap. I want you to you should have a pamphlet that looks like this, and you're going to fill in the 5 different text structures that we've been talking about pretty frequently this year. Compare and contrast, cause and effect, problem solution, chronological order, and description. And if you need to pause the screencast so that you can get the spellings and all of that, you can pause it and go fill it in. The next thing I want you to do is go preview the article. Look at the title. We spent some time already talking about background knowledge about Robin Hood, so you should have a little bit of that. But pick any 4 of your words. If you have more than 4, just pick 4. And a brief definition so that when you encounter that as you get into the article, you have some understanding of the word. Then you've got a handout that looks like this on the inside of your little booklet, and it's going to ask you to look for information specifically designed or written to each of these text structures. So the first one is problem and solution. It's going to talk about a problem in the article and then one solution that's being tried to solve that problem. So if you come across more than one problem, pick the main problem that is happening in Robin Hood's forest or in Sherwood Forest. And they're going to give you a couple of different solutions, so I want you just to pick any one. For cause and effect, it's talking about what's causing the problem. And in effect, there are weaker trees that are falling. And I want you to come up with, well, what's causing that? There's a direct event or a direct thing that's happening that is weakening the trees and causing them to fall over. So you're going to put that here. For compare and contrast, the article compares some of the factual things about Sherwood Forest to the fictional or made-up ideas. Pick one fact and one fictional part of the forest related specifically to Robin Hood. They're going to give you several, so you just need to pick one. And then I put a similarity for both of them is whether you believe in them or not. Sherwood Forest is well known in England, factually because of what its purposes, and fictionally because of Robin Hood. For chronological order, I give you a little timeline here to show the life cycle of a tree in Sherwood Forest. So it's going to tell you the number of years, and I gave you the first one. For 300 years, something happens in the cycle of that tree. You need to figure out how many years actually is that tree living, and then how many years for that last part of the life cycle. And then for description, the article describes the size of the forest at its peak versus now. So you're going to shade in this graph to help you visualize the comparison. And in the comparison then is in the thousands or maybe 100,000. So I gave you this hundreds chart. You're going to shade it in that shows how many thousand acres existed when it was at its peak versus how many acres it is now, and you'll notice there's no times 1,000 here, so this is just going to be in the hundreds. And then when you're done, make sure you answer the question. You can use anything that you put on this chart to help you, and then submit this turn this paper in when you're done. Good luck, and stay focused.